Hello everyone, I'm ImKibitz and welcome back to the Dyson Sphere program, where last time we visited other worlds to poke the bear a bit and gather mission critical resources so that we can automate drones and not have to build giant spaghetti factories anymore. So it's kind of funny we built all these defenses on the homeworld here, when at the end of the day, it was gonna be me that destroys everything. Well, that's what happens when you learn. You grow and evolve, which is why in real life you should continue learning as well. And it's free and easy to do with Brilliant.org. Brilliant is the best way to learn about math and science through its thousands of fun, interactive lessons that can start you off with the basics and lead into more advanced topics. Everything's customized to fit your needs, so you can learn at your own pace. And with new lessons being added every month, it's a great way to expand your knowledge and learn new skills. Like with me, I play factory and management games because I love systems and statistics, but it's all very surface level stuff. So I've tried to learn more, but statistics textbooks aren't exactly page turners, if you know what I mean. So I'm Brilliant, I took a stats course to refine my understanding of the fundamentals and dive a little deeper into the subject, which was a lot of fun, and I learned some new things. So if you're a lifelong learner or want to expand your knowledge, you can get started free for 30 days. And the first 200 people get 20% off an annual plan by signing up with my link in the description. So sign up today at brilliant.org/ImKibitz, and thank you Brilliant for sponsoring this video. But back to dronifying our world here. The drones are both efficient and easy to set up. You build the main drone towers here, and inside they can hold 4 different items and have a crazy huge storage capacity. And either supply, demand items, or store items. So you could have one thing supplying items, and then another tower demanding items. Chuck a couple drones in there, bud. And once they're powered on, the system's done. And now imagine expanding that system, where you had, I don't know, a bunch of copper mines, say all over a planet, that could supply the copper, and then you had a demand tower, maybe at a central item bus that's making all of the items in the game for you. Yeah, a system like that could be pretty efficient. And that's what we're gonna be doing today. So we'll just find patches of resources, smelt them down, and then ship them out. But also, we're gonna demand something as well. Later in the game, we're gonna set up these proliferation systems. So we'll have each little mine system here demand these items. And we'll set up the spree coders at the beginning of these systems here. And what happens if you spray down resources is when you smelt the spray down resources, you can get extra products or save on energy consumption, I think. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I just know we're not gonna be proliferating stuff for a little while longer because our power is looking, not the best, especially when we have thousands of drones flying all over the place. And hopefully a bunch of different types of drones as well, because besides the planetary logistics stuff, there's also these little guys, little frisbee friends. These logistics bots can take and give you items into your inventory. So you can have the settings say, hey, I want at least 3,000 copper bars in my inventory at all times. Or you could say, I want none. And then these little drones will come and collect the items from you. And then to use them, you just have to get these cool logistics hats here and put them on the box, and they now look super dapper. But then of course you just have to set up all the settings in here, provide it with drones, yada yada, and you get the picture. The main thing just is that when I'm working on all of these planetary logistics setups, is I want to have a way for these little drones to pick up all the junk out of my inventory and dump it into a setup like this. So this could be for copper ore. And then as I'm cleaning up the world here, the little drones will keep grabbing these items from me, and my inventory will remain spotless. And it's simple as that. And this is why I'm so excited for drones, because once you get these logistics drones, the game starts to get out of control real fast. Because you can copy and paste all of these systems across planets. Because say we landed on a new world and we had a factory set up, we can literally just copy entire sides of a planet and then just paste them somewhere else. But indeed, our first little solar system will soon not be enough for us. But for now, one planet at a time. Though I was going around and I think I do have most of the basics automated here. Like we have a little steel set up here, we have some iron, we have glass, we have stone, what have you, right? And at least for now, all those items are being sent across the world to our main item bus here, so we can start to automate some of the items here. Like for example, the Mark I sorters. Or at least we could, if we had circuit boards. Which leads to the next thing now, automating more complicated parts. So we have these logistics towers demanding like iron and all that jazz, right? Well, we're gonna start building some logistics towers down to the south here, except in this area, we're gonna start automating like the more complicated parts. So we could have circuit boards, then going into like motors, then like super magnets and stuff like that, and you kind of get my drift. But quick detour, we gotta leave our homeworld and go to that planet over there for a second. Because Mr. Kibbs needs a ton of silica. Because our homeworld power supply is gonna go real bad real quick. And so to fix that, we're gonna set up a bunch of solar panels. And that needs lots of silica. So I set up that little factory there really quick. And we're just gonna stack up on solar panels in the base for when our base's power issues become catastrophically bad. Because right now the world is really just quiet. But once we start automating like circuit boards and more complicated goods, then the demand for items will go up, and then all of these towers will activate at once and our power grid will fail. And if it doesn't, well, I've automated proliferation stuff. I'm sure after that we'll be able to make it fail really quick anyway. So we'll leave that gift for Mr. Kibbs and get to work on our main hub factory here. So like I was saying, we're gonna have logistics towers kind of getting what we need, like the iron and the magnets, or like the copper and the steel, and what have you, and start making all the basics. I will say one thing's important here, is that sometimes you don't want to use all the logistics slots in the logistics stations, because each of these towers can only have 50 drones, and each drone can only carry so much. So if these 50 drones are trying to get like 10,000 iron and 10,000 copper and what have you, then the whole system will slow down and it won't work super well. It is at least until you get those drones upgraded out the wazoo, but we're far from that. So for now, just more logistics stations. We'll set them to grab whatever the heck we need, like the glass and the basics, like I was saying. Get all those simple items automated. And then as we kind of go across the planet's surface, I'll set up more logistics stations over here. And we can have logistics stations now for the basics that we're making. So like the magnetic coils. But a big thing is, those items will go both into the logistics station and then out of the logistics station into the next factory. Because we're gonna need those magnetic coils to automate stuff like motors, I think? Yeah, motors, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now a portion of the coils will go up to the main bus, make our items that we need just for building, and then the other half, or at least a portion of them, will continue into the factory making more and more complex goods. That's the magic of this little system. We have all the items we need being sent to where they need to go, or being processed further into more complex items, until finally we have every tech and every building and every item we need to take over everything, everywhere, forever. The only limitation really just being the power systems, which I'm still very scared about. So scared I haven't even belted any of this stuff together, because I'm sure once it's running, everything's gonna collapse really quick. But it has to be tested at some point. So let's set some drones in here and set this to demand. And that will activate all of the planetary towers to bring things over. So they all are waking up. Oh yes. Here comes the swarm. And there goes our power. Like immediately. That's so bad. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're, 100 megawatts short of what we need to keep our factory alive. Cool, cool, cool. Luckily, we have tons of batteries that are storing some power that are going quick. Okay. Okay. Oh, it looks so beautiful, though. It's a shame it's destroying my world. Okay, well, we're not gonna connect up the rest of this factory. No, instead, I think it's time to think about power a little bit more deeply now. Because right now, our main power source is just taking oil and burning it in thermal power plants. And I think that's making the dark fog laugh at us, which makes me sad. And to be fair, they're gonna be laughing at us for a lot longer because tech-wise, we are a little far off from more advanced fuel sources. Like in a dream world here, we have artificial stars planted on planets, giving us all the power we want. But at the time being, I think we're just gonna try and get some hydrogen fuel cells burning, and then we'll progress through to better fuel sources like fusion power and stuff like that. Because look, we are limited by the technology of our time. But we'll get there. We'll get there. And I'm thinking we're gonna start an entirely new oil area. So this kind of like pizza slice of the planet is all gonna be based around oil products. So at the very top, I just got started with our basic blueprint, where we take oil and make it into fuel and hydrogen. And this time, we're actually gonna be taking both of that and doing something new with it. We're going to be reforming it, which takes a little bit of extra coal, but gives us more fuel. And with the fuel, we can store that up and make a ton of different stuff like it. Because of course, power is the main name of the game, but we gotta think a little later on, we're gonna need fuel for all the other products. Like say, a ton of sulfuric acid, or graphene, or plastic. And also I just want to quickly get that set up to get it out of the way, because now the rest of the space can be used for hydrogen and fusion and all that jazz. The power stuff that I really want. So again, we're just gonna go into our blueprint book, smack down our little oil blueprint here, and pretty much just set up what we did before over on this side of the world. Except instead of leading all of the materials into just thermal plants, we're gonna be able to incorporate it into a ton of other factories. And of course, all the hydrogen for hydrogen fuel rods, which can all then be burned along with excess products back into thermal generators. But that'll only be temporary, because as we move across the equator, start planning ahead here for fusion. And that's with these fractionators. But when we get to that tech, we'll talk about it more. For now, the stage is set for hydrogen fuel rod power. The only thing we need now is the titanium to make the little canister things. Because this will be our main power plant, I do not want to just hand deliver titanium here. So we're gonna dabble in interplanetary logistics, using the interstellar logistics stations and vessels. The big ships that can travel from world to world or solar system to solar system. So one more quick field trip off-world to our little lava planet here that has the tons of titanium, and we'll scoop a bunch of that stuff up to get us started. So I just dumped all the titanium into a logistics tower here, along with all the other items we needed to make what we want, and that lets us make this titanium alloy, which then is processed into reinforced thrusters for the interstellar ships, which we can use for interstellar travels. And then over here we have the planetary logistics stations. And we have a few of these towers ready and available right now. We have any ships made? Ship? No, still waiting on that. Well, that's all good because the planetary towers work just the same as the interplanetary ones. So these ones, clearly a little bit bigger, and get an extra slot here. Yeah, all you would do is put in the interstellar logistics vessels. Say you want a remote demand of titanium, and then you can have a local supply here too. Now, the only concern is trying to keep the lights on while all this stuff finishes automating, because yeah, power is really, really scary still, to the point that we're not making enough and systems aren't running properly. But I've tried to build more temporary power solutions, but yeah. I'm hoping we just get a few of these online and then that solves all of our problems. Because to be honest, I don't really want to set up solar panels all over the place because space around this world is getting pretty valuable at this point. Ooh, but we have our first delivery from another world coming in here, and that gives us the titanium. So I just built the planetary tower here. It feeds directly into this local tower, which allows us to distribute the titanium all over the place. Primarily, of course, over to here where we're making the hydrogen fuel cells. The hydrogen fuel cells go into another planetary logistics station for memes later, and then into the thermal power plants. So power is looking fantastic. Yes, it actually is. Okay, so we're making a little bit more power. And again, the system's just warming up. But at least everything's running now. We're recharging our batteries, and okay. Things are kind of fine for a little bit. And the main thing is, we have both the planetary and interplanetary stations built now, so the galaxy is soon to be ours. But the last thing I want to do is just finish up this planet first. So cleaning up all of the unorganized resources and destroying our little starter base over here. Because we have evolved past this point, and belts are obsolete. And with it out of the way, I replaced it with our new blueprints for our planetary towers. Everything's been re-automated and sent to where it needs to go. And after caving in and building a couple solar panels, our power is looking amazing, and we are ready to start conquering the galaxy. But I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you for watching. But have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.